How's it going, family? This is Mr. Golden, and we are coming at you today with another segment. And this segment is going to be in reference to uh, feminism and how it's associated with the dating culture in today's society. In most cases, guys are always met with the ideology of feminism at some point in time in the early dating stages. A lot of guys get afraid because they necessarily don't know where they stand in terms of socio political ideologies or just as a man. You know, what do I do? Where do I go? It's because a lot of guys, or not a lot, but majority of men in today's society necessarily don't have a rite of passage, or they do not have that strong male figure that's going to help galvanize their psyche moving towards their purpose. So here is usually what I use as a rebuttal when met with feminism in a dating atmosphere. It's nothing combative. Necessarily, I don't want to have any type of real conflict because once you break it down to a fundamental level, then there's always understanding whether it's wanted or not. So usually, what I do is first off, I always pay respect to the feminine principles, and I let the young lady know I completely understand and appreciate how you and your female friends or lady friends are trying to redefine what is feminine in the 21st century. How it applies given these new avenues and nuances of being a woman in the 21st century. I completely understand that. And there's more power to you because the sooner you figure it out, the better we will be able to mesh as men and women to, restore what is a dysfunctional and discordian relationship amongst the opposite sexes and the Western world, and primarily in America and the UK and whatnot. And then after that, I'll say, but I can't participate with this redefinition, primarily with me being a man, because I have other things that I need to master in order to be the best man that I can be. And my role is clearly defined as providing protection and enforcing boundaries. And with that being said, um, women are always having this feeling now that they are both unsafe and uncomfortable. So I need to be able to master my skill to the best of my abilities to maximize the two positive female motivators, which is comfort and routine. Because the more comfortable and more routine a woman's life is, the better I can provide protection and enforce boundaries. So you see how the pieces fit together? Because we are complementary entities. So there's no need to, clash or bash or even try to harp on the whole concept of equality and all these other different things because once we fit together, clasp, as a clasp, and become ironclad, all that stuff just becomes background noise because there's a degree of synergy that's going to pretty much cover up, or not cover, but fill in all the blanks, that each side is missing so that, we have a shared interest in what we're doing. And usually, once I give that perspective, and if I'm still met with pushback, then I know that this situation is doomed from the beginning. Because then you're looking at the two negative female motivators, which is boredom and jealousy. This means that if she has too much time on her hands, it's going to create chaos out of boredom. And then if she's on the jealous end, then she's still envious of me being a man and having my roles defined, which they don't understand that being a man is boring. So when you try to be the man, then guess what? You're still tapping into those negative female motivators, because being a man is boring. The only thing you really do as a man when you're interacting with a lady in a relationship is making sure that she wakes up in the same state that she goes to sleep, and just making sure that her mood is as even as possible, and you just kind of just sit there. I mean, that's why they say no one can bring the family together like a woman can, because the man is kind of on the outs and he just gets a day or two, and other than that, it's just boring. It's like prime example. A guy was trying to argue me down about this point that I'm making about the opposite sex or relations, and he says, "Oh well, the women run everything," and I was like, "Okay." And then it was like, "Yeah, oh, you don't believe me? Have you watched National Geographic?" And I'm like, "Nah, I ain't never watched National Geographic." "Well, I'm gonna tell you. I mean, do you see the lions?" And I was like, "Yeah, I see the lions, man." "And do you see that the women, they hunt, they teach the kids how to hunt, and then they do all this other stuff, and the man just sit around and do nothing?" And I was like, "Okay, you finished?" And he was like, "Yeah." "You simple bastard. Do you understand why the male lion lies around and does nothing all day?" It was like, "No, it's because he's nocturnal, which means that the majority of the time he's up at night patrolling the territory of the pride to make sure that no other male lion comes in and bites off his progeny's head. So it looks like he's doing nothing, but he's doing everything at night to ensure that the pride wakes up the same way that it goes to sleep." So with that being said, this is Mr. Golden, and for all my men and women that are confused, this I'm not saying that this is the end all to be all, but this is just my opinion on how to have a more constructive interaction amongst opposite sex in America. So with that being said, when God made the universe, He wrote post-dated checks for all things to come. And if you ever want to be anything, start collecting the cash, and then I'm out.